This meeting is being recorded.
Why? Who's the other person?
Oh, there we go.
There's 3 of us on.
I'm not sure.
Hey, Tracy. Hey, Kimberly.
Okay, there we go.
Can y'all hear me? Hello.
I can hear you.
I can't hear Tracy and Kimberly. Hey. Nothing. Now they're muted. Will you, are you GACD host, Maddie?
Yes.
Okay, so you're letting everyone in? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Okay, that's recording.
Tracy, I still can't hear you. How do we, Maddie, can you make Tracy co-host?
Co-host. Mm-hmm. I was just going to.
And I don't know how we remove that from like Jenna and Leanne. We might not be able to have multiple hosts.
Okay. All right, we're on.
Yeah, can y'all exit out of the other one? Okay.
All right, I had my laptop, I mean my iPad.
Okay, we can hear you now.
Okay.
We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh, you can't see us?
No.
Hold on. Okay. It's me. I can never get a Zoom to hey there. Yeah.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
And Tracy, I don't know if y'all were wanting to share your screen or not, but you are co-host now, so you should be able to do that if y'all have like a.
Yeah, I can't because I'm on the iPad. I had to switch it. So I don't. Yeah, something about I've always had issues with this computer and Zoom. So, but we tested yesterday and it worked, and of course, the real thing's not working. So
I know that's how it goes.
Yep. So tell us what, I guess, this was, I think, just mainly a question answer session, right?
Yeah, well, I kind of wanted y'all to brief, this kind of give our new staff members like an overview of, their state, paying their state and their federal taxes. And then I'm sure they all have some questions for you.
Okay. I mean, they are independent contractors, which means they got the 1099s. They're not employees. Employees get W-2s that have taxes withheld. Independent contractors get 1099s. They're responsible for dealing with their own taxes, the Medicare, Social Security part. It will be filed on a Schedule C, this income, and obviously if they have other W-2 or other income, it all comes together on their 1040. But just the GACD part is the 1099. They'll report, the income, the wages, the wages, the labor portion, anything they got reimbursed for. They don't include as far as deductions. They've already gotten that reimbursed. Kind of the general rule, it depends on which tax bracket you're in, but I kind of tell people, clients, that for every dollar amount you get paid, you may just want to set aside 15 to 20% for taxes, and you would set up estimated. So as they file tax returns, this is where it all comes together, and everybody's different. They may have W-2 wages where they had federal withholding that's going to take care of that income and the GACD.
Okay. And just so, sorry to interrupt you, Tracy, just so y'all know, I know everyone on this Zoom here, but y'all, these are our accountants. They're based out of Athens, Georgia, Turner and Patat. This is Kimberly DeMont and then Tracy Matthews. I know all of my RPMs have probably spoken with Tracy and Kimberly at some point, but we have on the call some new folks who might not know who they are. So I just wanted to make sure to introduce y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, Tracy, you were talking about saving some, our contractors should save some money out of their checks every pay period.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because
just kind of put some aside, and you can, obviously depending on your personal tax situation, because everybody's different.
Yeah.
You may want to set up estimated payment, and you can, there's vouchers available, 1040 ES, that you can submit quarterly, estimated payments. And I guess probably the big ordeal now is, getting your 2021 taxes filed. And if you're going to owe a significant amount, hopefully not, then that's going forward is where you definitely want to set aside money and start making estimated payments. Any questions about, it's like I said, it's,
yeah.
I guess, is the 1099, is it confusing as far as like how you put it on your tax return? So what is the?
Yeah, so I think just a lot of these, our new contractors may have been employees before, so this might be their first time as being like an independent contractor with GACD.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do have a couple of questions. I know that I kind of had when I first got started with this. Isn't there a penalty if you don't pay the quarterly? Like, don't we have to pay state and federal quarterly taxes to avoid some type of penalty? And then also, I know a lot of people wonder how to know how much the estimate is. And I know that, like you said, it's based off personal, now that I've done this for a while, I now know, of course, how those calculations are done and all that. But if you could just, direct people on how to figure that out, that might be good.
There is, it's under estimated tax penalty. It depends on the dollar amount that's owed, depends on personal situation, but by making the estimated payments, you will reduce that penalty. If you file an extension and that does not extend the time to pay your taxes, it's going to extend the time to submit the documentation. So still, your taxes are expected due by April 15th. On your, like I said, sometimes it is estimated if you're gathering documents. But yes, there can be some penalty, and it can be even be significant, but generally it hopefully is not going to be too much.
Yeah, there's withholding tables out there, so it's kind of, we can't really direct people on like how much they need to be sending in because we don't know everybody's personal situation. We have some contractors where the 1099 is going already into some sort of an LLC, which leads me to believe that they've got other income hitting that. So we can't really even do a baseline type of thing. Tax tables change every year, so you can look at those based on your situation. If you got a spouse working, because you got to take that into account as well, like their income, what's happening on their withholdings.
We could email like some like 2021 and 2022 tax bracket information. It's pretty much just as defaults as married, filing joint, is kind of simple, or married or single, or married filing joint. There is, yeah, I'm sorry, we do have married filing separate, head of household, and it tells you your taxable income and the rate, the tax rate that you're going to be in. So that's a good guide to, you know, to, like I said, if you, whatever paycheck you get, you may want to set, I said, you know, 15 to 20%. Like if you're in the taxable income of, if you're single and your income is anywhere between 10,276 and 41,775, you're in the 12% tax bracket, but you got to consider Georgia at between 5 and 6%. So that's going to give you, if you're falling in that, you know, 10 to 40, almost 42,000, then you're going to want to set aside 17%. And you will split those estimates between federal and state.
Mm-hmm. And you pay quarterly. I know that's what I do anyway. I pay quarterly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pay quarterly.
And I have to actually mail them to like the Georgia Department of Revenue. I mail them a check every quarter, and then I mail the IRS a check every quarter.
Yep. And there's also a really, I prefer direct, it's called Irs Direct Pay.
Mhm.
You end up, it directly withdraws out of your bank account. But I feel like just because the IRS is so behind right now,
Yeah.
that is probably a better way to pay it. Georgia, if you go to the Georgia Tax Center, and we can send these
Yeah.
links to you to share. You can also set up an individual account through the Georgia Tax Center, or you can do a quick pay and get your estimate in that way, or you can just mail a check with the vouchers. And just kind of wanted to mention the estimated like tax dates: April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and then January 15th. So the January 15th estimate that if you had just mailed it in, that's for 2021.
Right.
So.
And so those are the dates that our contractors need to be turning in their quarterly payments by.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And now Maddie asked earlier about the, if there was a penalty if you are late on these 4 dates. So can y'all recap that again, what you said?
Yep. If you say you don't pay any estimated tax at all for the year, and then you file your taxes, because you had not paid any taxes in, you could potentially be penalized for not making estimated payments. It's called an underestimated tax penalty.
Okay. So those dates you gave us are very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And where can they get the vouchers that they turn in?
You can go to the IRS website. You can actually just Google, let me see, if you do 1040 ES. Yep. There's the 22 forms. It has instructions. And it even gives you a calculation of kind of like how to, you know, it keeps a record for you. And there's just like, yeah, and I can send this link to you as well. And so let me kind of recap. So we need to send tax rate schedule, and a link for the estimated taxes for federal and state. And then we'll send a link to directly pay.
Yeah.
And the vouchers?
Yeah, we'll send, yeah, they'll, like I said, you either send vouchers or you do the direct pay. We'll send both.
So if they use the rate schedule you're going to send, so like, and they figure out like, okay, this is what percent of my check I need to save every month. And so then on April 15th, when they submit their quarterly payment, what if that's wrong? Like, what if it was under or over? I mean, I guess they get that back.
Well, you'll get, yeah, I mean, if they find out later that it's wrong, they can always increase or decrease on a future estimate, but it all comes together with your tax return. It all basically it gets reconciled. It's just like getting a paycheck. If you look at your paycheck, you have federal and state withholding. that's paid along, but your employer is withholding it for you and submitting it, where this independent contractors, you are doing your own federal and state. And then you also are getting that self-employment side where there's Medicare, Social Security that's withheld, and an employer will match. Because you're an independent contractor, you're responsible for those taxes too. And those go toward your, toward your Social Security Medicare fund that you'll use much later.
Another question, and this kind of might be more applicable now, well, with COVID and everything, would be eligibility for unemployment, which is something we're not eligible for because we're 1099, I
Right.
believe. So can you just kind of explain, I think that's because we aren't employees, so GACD does not like withhold whatever or pay into unemployment or something, whatever, however that works, just so everybody can understand.
Well, for Schedule C, there was some unemployment available. If there was a break with, GACD, you all were not impacted so much, I don't believe, by, right? I mean, that nobody's pay like decreased.
Yeah, everybody continued to work from
Yeah,
home.
and so the unemployment literally was, you were not employed during this, time. So there was a lot of temporary unemployment that happened in 2020 and some in 2021. But this is not, you all did not qualify for that.
How does it
we-
work? How does it
Go ahead.
work if we typically file jointly with our spouse? Do we still do we kind of just make our quarterly payments and then, do you know what I'm saying?
Yep. So if this is your first year as an independent contractor with GACD, and in the past you married filing joint, and you say you got back a very large refund and you haven't paid any estimates, that refund is probably not going to be so large this year or any at all, but that spouse's withholding took care of it on a married filing joint. So it all gets reconciled together. And so, and that can actually be helpful, as if you're married filing joint and you don't want to have to deal with those estimated taxes, you tell your spouse, hey, change your withholding to like single and zero. And you may, or either single and zero plus an extra $50 a paycheck, or, or $100, whatever it depends on your personal tax situation. But that can also handle, getting this tax paid in.
Any more questions?
And there's also, the IRS has some nice links, and I'll send those too, on estimating your income and taxes. So we can send those as well. And I think, a lot of people, they're going to either have, preparers doing their taxes, or they're going to have, they're going to be using TurboTax. And so all of these tools can help in planning going forward.
Yeah, I recommended to all my staff members to, speak with an accountant, figure out what you need to do. I mean, I definitely could not keep all this straight without them. So it's been very helpful.
Yeah. Okay.
Do y'all have any questions? Caitlin, I know you had.
If something comes up later, shoot us an email. Because if you're laying in bed, wake at 1 o'clock in the morning, and go, well, what about this? Just shoot us an email. Yeah.
Thank you.
Katie, should we just kind of compile this email, send it directly to you, and then you disperse it? Would that be the easiest?
Yes, that will be fine.
Okay.
Andrew, do you have any questions? Andrew's brand new. He's one of our new soil conservationists. He's in the NRCS office.
No, ma'am, I don't have any questions. I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Caitlin, Irony, are y'all good? Jenna?
Yeah.
I will add really quick too, just one thing I was thinking of. If you do those payments online, this is just something I learned with trial and error come tax time every year, is making sure that you keep track of the payments that you make.
Yep.
I take screenshots, and I also record all those confirmation numbers, and I'll make a few notes about each quarterly payment, like how much I paid, along with the confirmation number and the screenshots. Because that you'll need to have that info handy, whether you're doing TurboTax or having somebody else do them for you. So just make sure.
Yep, that is, we've had several, we get, clients get tax notices because a lot of times they have given us misinformation on what they paid in. And and so it's gonna generate a scary notice. Especially if you owe, and it's like, oh, I thought or either people thought they made an estimate and then and forgot to. So it can, very good point. Very important to keep track of those. And also
make sure, the date. And then when you do it, if you do those, because I think I forget to do my quarterly payments until like the day before. So I usually don't have time to mail checks in. So I always do it online. It can get a little confusing the first couple of times when you're on the IRS website or the one for Georgia, making sure that you're paying for the right tax year, and it gives you a drop down menu with the option, and you're paying the estimated taxes and all that. So if you guys start doing payments that way and have questions, and if you want to make sure that you're selecting the right options and things like that, just that's something that can be a little bit confusing the first few times.
And so everyone should have their tax documents now that Tracy and Kimberly have mailed out to everyone. And my personal accountants here in Ringgold, they told me that we need to file our income taxes early, I guess, because the IRS is so backed up. Have y'all heard that?
Yeah.
I don't know the IRS is ever going to get caught up.
I mean,
the earlier, if you're expecting a refund, you probably need to get it in there. The earlier, the better. But yeah, the IRS is they're in a mess. They're just people too. It is, so they're dealing with the same things that we're all dealing with. There's been a lot going on in the last couple of years with the unemployment, with the stimulus, payments that were dispersed, the new child tax credits, advance payments. I mean, everything is,
Is there a way, I know, like with Katie and I and Leanne, we've been all doing this for a few years, so we kind of have our own systems figured out and things like that. But can you guys give any type of ballpark for what it would cost to have an accountant prepare? And I know it's dependent on each of our situations, how much an accountant would charge to do our personal taxes and all that. But if there's a way to just get an estimate, so they know, so people who might not have paid in the past for it.
I would expect anywhere from $250 to $450.
Yeah, it's all going to be based on your individual circumstance. How much is going to go into it, and also the area you live in. I mean, larger cities, you're probably going to be paying a premium. But we have a minimum of $350. To start. So that's probably we're here in Athens, so we're kind of middle of the road. But when we do that, we also prepare your estimated payments so for the coming year to kind of make sure how much we want you to send in and everything. So that's all included in our tax prep services.
So that might, just to give you guys an idea. And then also, I guess kind of within that, what if somebody just wanted, because I know there's like a sheet or worksheet or something to calculate those estimated taxes. And I've heard there's a worksheet. I've never looked at it because that's way beyond my level. But if somebody just wanted an accountant to work up those estimates and not actually file the taxes, but just it's
It's gonna be based on, all firms, we're like attorneys, everything's based on time.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you come in organized and with a previous, you know, with a current year or previous year tax return, and know what you should make in the upcoming year, you know, you could be $100 to $200. If you're
Yeah.
unorganized, it's gonna be more.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that is, because I've done that for some clients too, that, you know, they file their own and they just need me to tell them, this is what you need to send. So,
like I said, we'll send the link to, because IRS does have some calculators in there to help you estimate your taxes. And those are free.
Yeah. And also too, guys, you know, with going through the kind of the first year with doing your tax, you know, return and all that kind of stuff, you know, provided a lot of your personal stuff doesn't change, kind of once you go through it first, you can get a better, that's what I did when I started, was use the random calculators I found online and hope that that was accurate. And then from there, after you go through it a time or two, you kind of can be a little more confident in your estimates and all the stuff that way.
Like it said, you know, if you use an accountant for the first time, doesn't mean you have to stay with them in the
Yeah.
future. If you want to just get through this process and have assistance, you pay the investment to educate yourself.
Yeah.
And let them go through, you know, with you, you know, line by line on your taxes and to help you understand. And then in the future, you can go back if you're using TurboTax or H&R, you know, software, H&R Block software, then you could still go back to that.
yeah.
Are there any more questions for our accountants?
Once you make that first or second payment, will it let you know if you're doing too much or too less, or will that only be whenever you do your tax return at the end of everything?
Your tax return at the end of the year.
Yeah, because when you set the payments, it's not asking you how much you earned. It's only asking you how much are you submitting in. So all of that is reconciled on the return.
Okay.
And that's why I said it may be nice to meet with an accountant this year, to go through, you know, because it's going to make more sense when you actually have your return in front of you, and you can see exactly how the numbers are feeding with the taxes, you know, what's going on with the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know a couple of years ago, I was not saving enough quarterly. And then when I got my income taxes, I owed like quite a bit. So now I save a lot more. My checks. All right, are there any more questions? All right, well, if y'all are good, I'll just look for y'all's email with the links, and then I'll send that out to everyone. And thank y'all for doing this. I think this was very helpful for our.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Yes,
All right.
thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.